I think a big part of the culture is not trying to shape and form and create it. It's finding the people that fit you. And I think it goes along with the customer as well. It's finding those customers that have the similar values and live by the similar principles of work ethic and honesty and integrity and all that stuff. I don't know how much I built the culture other than I just found the people that fit.
You hired the right people. What happens when a precision job shop stops making parts and starts building their identity? Kyle Ellis transformed a machining business into torque manufacturing, proving that craftsmanship, clarity, and strategic thinking are what scale modern manufacturing. Hello and welcome to the Manufacturing Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Mayer. I want to thank you all for being here today. You're part of this journey, sometimes unwillingly or unwittingly, but I appreciate you being here regardless. Whatever brought you here, thank you for being here. If you like this show, please take a moment and go on whatever platform that you're on, Apple, Spotify, any of the hundreds of smaller podcast platforms. Rate and review the show. This isn't for my ego. It's not for Kyle's ego. This is so more people find this conversation. Every time you rate and review, I don't understand algorithms, but every time you do it, it rockets us up the charts and more people are able to find the show, which means that more people are learning about culture and manufacturing. And for those of you who like this show, also check out our other shows. We've got Work But Make It Human, a podcast all about frameworks and its authors and consultants on how we can make the world of work more human. We've got Industrial Storytellers, where I get on stage and get drunk with my friends and we tell stories about the industry. And then we've got the Manufacturing Connector, our YouTube channel, where we explore the tools and technology that are shaping modern manufacturing. So we're really excited to have you all here today. I am in Ogden, Utah. I'm not used to, for those of you who follow this, I'm not used to being on site. I do a lot of these remotely, but I'm in Ogden, Utah, and couldn't pass up an opportunity to interview Kyle Ellis of Torque Manufacturing. Kyle, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today, man?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. Thanks. Yeah. He may be one of those unwilling participants, but he didn't have a choice. Our friend Emily Wilkins said, "Hey, Kyle, you're doing this." And here we are. So Kyle, you've built something really cool. Walk me around the shop. It's a really great shop. The people here, very engaged, super into what they're doing. You can tell there's a lot of pride in what you all are building here. And we'll get into your thoughts on manufacturing, your thoughts on the shop here in a minute. But we're going to have a little bit of fun first. And last night at dinner, I gave you a preview of what this question was for the first time, and you looked like you weren't going to enjoy this question at all, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So Kyle, if your life were a movie, what genre would it be? Who would play you? And what's the opening scene?
Yeah, I thought about, I'm one of these guys that doesn't watch a lot of movies, so it's not like I just soak in and connect to the movie, and so I had a hard time really relating with the movie, the genre, the actors and whatnot. And I just had to go, I have to go back and say, well, what do I watch and what fits Kyle? And it comes back, the genre is a documentary.
I like it. I like it. That does fit you amazingly well. So because there's no like main character, no actor outside of a narrator, who narrates the story of your life?
Well, I wanted to tell you why it shows documentary.
Okay. Well, don't let me get in the way.
Just, these are my thoughts, but you know, I feel like, you know, most people, when they look at a documentary, the majority of the people I know are like, oh, documentary, boring.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the way a lot of people look at me. And that's okay. It's totally okay. I'm comfortable with that. But where I'm going with this is what's beautiful about a documentary is if you really get engaged in the documentary and you really take the time to watch what they're presenting, you usually finish the documentary really feeling like, wow, that was something I didn't know, and you learn more and you grow more from it, I think. And so I hope that's kind of my boring personality. If you give me the time, I'll show you a little more depth and a little more.
I think that is 100% appropriate and fair. Yeah, at first glance, people look at documentaries and like, do I really want to spend my time watching that? Right. But as they get invested in the story, it becomes something bigger than what they thought it was maybe going to be originally. And that's what I know about you so far after meeting you a couple times and spending some time with you. I think that's a very fair assessment. So I'm going to leave the rest of the questions off the table because I think you gave a lot of thought and intention behind that answer, and I appreciate it. So Kyle, second icebreaker that I ask every guest is, what does culture mean to you?
It's just the kind of the, everything has culture. Groups of people create sort of their own rules and ways to do and work together. And it's kind of finding that cohesive ways to mesh those ideas together to where, you're all achieving and growing and helping through the hard times and the bad times. And you have a way to deal with all of that. I think just, from the way the sense of humor, the humor that exists in the shop to the way we handle real issues and even struggles when not just in the shop, but personally, and how people support one another. It's all part of culture to me. And so
I love it. Kyle, let's talk about you. This story is all, or this show's all about my guests. What first drew you to the trade? How did you get into machining?
So I've always kind of been a guy that, growing up, I was a guy that liked to build Legos, and as I got older, I tinkered more with motors and building things, and I've always kind of just enjoyed the mechanics and mechanical things. And so I was planning on being an engineer and had the opportunity to where I used to dirt bike with a guy that owned a shop, and he told me if I wanted to be a better engineer, to be a machinist. And so he happened to have a job and hired me out of high school. And from there, I just kind of just soaked it in and really kind of became, I was fortunate that it found me. I didn't have to find my thing really. So that's kind of the story.
How you found it?
That got into machining.
What kept you here?
Just making things is cool. There's technologies that just from software and the things you can do you strip all that away. What I love about it is you're taking something from someone's head, turn it into something virtual, whether it's a CAD model or drawing, and we get to be part of the process to convert that from the engineer's mind or the inventor's mind to the model to reality. And that reality turns into all kinds of parts that go and benefit the world. So that's what gets exciting. But even without that, just like being out there working with my hands, getting dirty, even though I don't get to do it as much as I used to, but I enjoy taking something from a real bland form and turning it into something really special and useful. So
awesome. Your company that we're in, Torque Manufacturing, started out as Blue Sun Manufacturing. Was there a moment, a turning point that made you realize that Blue Sun didn't capture the brand? And what was that?
Well, the Blue Sun brand was centered more around lighting products, and that's something that we started pursuing, but it just didn't work out. And we just realized, it's not a brand that fit what we were doing. We weren't designing and innovating lighting products. We were actually just making parts for customers. And so we just wanted to have something that sort of was related more to mechanics and mechanical term. And so Torque is what we come up with. That, we have a shop full of guys that like to do a lot of outdoor stuff, from dirt bikes and snowmobiling and even fishing. You think about reeling a reel, there's torque and all of that involved. And so it just kind of fit what we do outside of the shop and what we do inside the shop. Obviously in machining, there's a lot of torque involved in tearing metal off of parts.
But how much did your personal values as the leader of then Blue Sun, now Torque, shape what the brand became as Torque? Because a lot of times our brands reflect the values we have, right? In some way, shape, or form. Mine is a circular logo, right? I chose that because I was shaped by the 90s. I was a kid in the 90s, right? And that Varney France logo really was something that I remembered fondly, right? So that shaped the iconography of my brand. But the authenticity that I've built my brand around is a massive part of what I value, just being an authentic human being. So Torque obviously has a lot of your influence in the brand itself. You worked with a mutual friend, Emily Wilkins, to get this Torque brand up and launched. But are you able to pinpoint values that you hold in the branding of Torque?
Yeah. As I look at the brand, number one, it's simple. It's a single syllable, Torque, spelled Torq. And that's what we like to do, is keep it simple. It's got a block image that shows some strength and resilience, and something that's definitely been part of our core value and personality in the shop, as we've gone through the good times and COVID and ups and downs. And it's required lots of resilience and persistence, and that red and strong image kind of portrays that. So yeah, and then when I was Blue Sun, that was in a different world, different. I had a partner at the time, and it just never totally felt like it was me nor the guys that I employ. And so we wanted something that could be our own, that showed those values that we just talked about, like hard work, strong, persistent, resilient, simple.
I love
values.
Love it. Walk us through what kind of products you make here at Torque. Who are some of your customers that you can name, and what kind of parts are you making for them?
So we deal with pretty much every major industry. We've done a lot of work in aerospace. We have a customer, Stadler Rail. They're a Swiss company, and they put their first manufacturing plant in the U.S. here in Salt Lake City. And
Okay.
I was able to get in really early on with them, which is a cool story for another day. But we've done work with most of the major manufacturers here locally, but we've now expanded more into out of state, to typically more aerospace companies. They're in even outer space. We've done quite a bit of that too.
Yeah. So what kind of, the old days of manufacturing, marketing and manufacturing, you would pull up a website and it was a list of capabilities and a list of their machines, right? We've moved past that, but I think a lot of people still are interested in what kind of machinery you have. So what kind of machinery do you have down in your shop?
So we're a full CNC machine shop, and we have pretty much all the technology that's available to have, from starting with the 2-axis lathes and 3-axis mills to full 5-axis with horizontal milling machines, mill turns, and done-in-one type machines. We have automation that supports some of those machines, and really good equipment. We've kind of gravitated to DMG Mori brand equipment, which is a really solid brand in itself, and competes well. And so we have the technology and equipment to do pretty much what anybody can do. We're not like big manufacturing. Most of what we machine will fit in a 12-inch cube.
Got it.
Unless it's a longer plate or something. So it's the equipment that fits that.
Yeah. Awesome. One of the things that jumped out at me from your website was the value that your team adds to the customer experience. And so walk us through some of that. What is the value that you feel your team brings to the experience that your customers have buying parts from you?
Well, hopefully, in my opinion, it's my job to help the buyer not worry. If we're doing our job, then they're getting their parts on time, and then meeting the needs of their customers, and whether it be their manufacturing line or a Boeing or Airbus plane manufacturer or something. But so the way we do that is this comes back from the days of the shop I began at. he one of my mentors at that shop, he always emphasized relationship, and I, in this day and age where everything's so disconnected through emails and texts, and we still try to have pretty regular contact with our customers, and we form a relationship that's more than just getting parts. It's we're all working together to accomplish a common goal, and that relationship. My customer support team, he spent a career, he was outside of machining, didn't know anything about machining, but he is an excellent at just talking and getting to know people, and we're real, and we do our best to tell the truth. And
I love it.
Meaning sometimes we say we're going to be on time and we're not. Things happen, but that's the honest truth.
Yeah.
So
so it sounds like you're intentionally building culture, not only with your team here internally, but with your customers externally, right? You want them to have a good experience and a good relationship and feel the culture that you've built here. Is that an appropriate statement? Yeah. So every company has a culture, whether you intentionally build it or not, right? There's a culture out on a shop floor. You've been in a lot of shops in your career. What's it like to intentionally build the culture that you want?
It's cool to create something, but I have to go back and say, I think a big part of the culture is not trying to shape and form and create it. It's finding the people that fit you. And I think it goes along with the customer as well, as when you speak of customer culture.
Yeah.
It's finding those customers that have the similar values and live by the similar principles of work ethic and honesty and integrity and all that stuff. So I don't know how much I built the culture other than I just found the people that fit.
You hired the right people.
And not to say that it hasn't evolved and we work on improving that.
Sure.
But it's really finding the right people to fit and accomplish what we're trying to.
So how have you found those people? I mean, that's one thing that a lot of shops have struggled with. I've been in the industry for 26 years at this point, and I've seen shops hire anybody who could fog a mirror, right? If they had a heartbeat, they were hired. But that's not what you've done here. You've been intentional. You've hired people that fit, that want to be here, that enjoy showing up, that have that sense of pride. How are you finding those people?
To be honest, probably 90%, 90% of the guys that work for me are all from word of mouth. It's usually they've known someone.
No kidding.
My main management team, I've known a lot of them for many years. But I've hired somebody, they like it, they know a friend that's in the industry that that doesn't like where they're at. Why don't you come try this place out? And they come and they stay. And it's not just those that have been in the industry. There's been, hey, I got a friend that's stocking shelves and not really enjoying his job at nights. Would you be willing to give him a shot? And I always say if they got the work ethic and they can learn what we're trying to teach them, then they can succeed. And we got to make sure they're wired for the job. Not everybody can grasp all the concepts, but for the most part, they come in and do a good job, and it's mostly from word of mouth. Very little advertising.
Good for you. That's awesome. What advice would you give to younger Kyle Ellis about starting a shop?
Don't. No, when I started a shop, I always wanted my own business, and we taught machining kind of just fit me. But it is a hard business.
Yeah.
So no, it's going to be hard. There's, one day you're dealing with titanium, the next it's aluminum, it's big part, little part, wide open tolerances, super tight tolerances. And as much as we try to predict and plan the best we can, it doesn't always, the crystal ball isn't always that clear. And so it's up and down. And so be prepared for that. That's probably the biggest thing, is be prepared for things not happening exactly the way you planned. But it is a super exciting ride. You have the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
I love it. What's the thing you're most proud of over the course of your career?
Probably the thing I'm most proud is just it goes beyond making money, having a shop. That's all great. Just that I've jumped in without lots of experience and lots of opportunities and come out ahead.
Yeah.
That I'm proud that I haven't always just let fear get in my way. There's lots of jobs that maybe we shouldn't have taken, but because of that, there's lots of jobs that most or a lot of shops maybe wouldn't have taken, but we did and we succeeded. I'm proud of that. That's something I think I go back to my dad. He was a guy that fixed everything. And I have to say, for my success, I look at that and say, no, that's what he's teaching me. It's not like he was giving me a lesson in that, but it was more, he showed me that you don't need to be afraid to try to fix the dishwasher.
Sure.
Or fix your car. And so that's kind of the mentality I've always had, is just, let's give it a try. We might fail. If we do, we'll learn from it. And and that will be better for it. And if we succeed, all the better.
That's awesome. Kyle, your son just started working here. You talked earlier about people who may not have had previous exposure. Your son's a music major here at Utah State, right? Yet here he is coming in a couple days a week, earn some money. Is this something that you see him getting bit by as like a bug, that this could be his future? Or is there another one of your children that think may carry that on?
I'm not sure he'll get the bug for manufacturing, but I think he'll get the bug for, we've had conversations. We live 40 minutes from the shop, and so it's a good opportunity to just have conversations. And he's already got the bug of entrepreneurship, and
okay.
I don't necessarily want to work for somebody, and I'm just excited about entrepreneurship and businesses as machining. And so if I can sort of help feed that part of what he's seeing, maybe we've talked about making guitars and different things just for fun or as hobbies, but who knows, maybe it could turn into something where it's a business that's related to machining and manufacturing that's also related to his music.
Yeah.
And that would be an amazing opportunity. So who knows? It would be cool if that happens. I do have a few other kids that will see their paths. They kind of have similar traits as I did when I was a kid. Like to make things, and they're printing stuff on the 3D printer every day and selling it at school to their friends and stuff. Who knows? It would be fun to have that happen. But
awesome. Kyle, what's the legacy that you want to leave behind?
Oh boy, ultimately strip away all what we've talked about, and I just want to be known as somebody that worked hard, that cared about the people he worked with and the people he worked for, that was just an honest man that did his best to leave his mark the best he could. If I can instill a little bit of that idea in others to go after what they want to do, and do it,
I love it. Kyle, the last question I ask every guest, and it's not a question you have to answer. So if you don't have an answer for it, you can say, I don't have an answer, and I can just move into my close. What haven't I asked you that you want to share with the audience today?
I'm going to bring it back to manufacturing and machining in particular. Is the industry itself has done a great job at promoting and marketing the industry. Very few people know what machining is. The schools don't have it. Any schools that used to have, back in the day, they'd have wood shop and they'd have machine shop. They pulled those out of schools, and it's an industry that's awesome. It's really fun, even with all the AI stuff. It's going to be exciting to see what AI can do for it and all the technology, but there's, to me, not a more exciting industry if you're like to make things and be a part of that. So that's probably the biggest thing, is I always like to promote, like, machining is awesome, manufacturing is awesome, and I think more people would enjoy it if they just knew more what was available. I appreciate what you're doing to help promote that.
Thank you. It's the coolest job I've ever had behind being a dad. being a dad's been the coolest job I've ever had, but
Cool.
This is a pretty cool job too. Kyle, thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate the time that you've spent with me and the conversation that we've had. I've enjoyed getting to know you, who you are as a human being. You're a good dude, and just appreciate what you're giving to this industry. So thank you.
Well, that's super nice of you to say. Thanks.
Yeah. If you think that's nice, wait until you read what I wrote. Kyle Ellis matters because he represents a new wave of American manufacturing leaders who refuse to let precision shops be invisible or commoditized. Under his leadership, Torque Manufacturing shows that strong identity, strategic clarity, and craftsmanship aren't just buzzwords for the marketing world. They're the foundation of a resilient, growing manufacturing business. Kyle and his story speaks directly to workers, shop owners, and aspiring manufacturers about how to stand out in an industry that too often competes on price rather than pride. By elevating both the work and the people who do it, Kyle demonstrates a path for the future of manufacturing that's rooted in dignity, relevance, and thoughtful growth. Thank you all for being with me today. I've really, really enjoyed this conversation. Again, if you could take 2 seconds, go rate and review the show. I'd really appreciate it. Till next time, keep making things.